Jacob didn't resist when they brought him into the room. The room was the same. The screens were different. This time, the technician didn't speak at all. She connected an IV bag to the port in his arm. She watched the monitors as Hale stood behind the glass, hands folded, already anticipating the results. Electrodes were added along Jacob's spine, down his arms, at the base of his neck. When the machine powered on, Jacob tensed, jaw tightening as something moved through him. Not pain exactly, but pressure. Like his body was being asked to do something it hadn't learned yet. His breathing changed first, deeper, faster. The readings climbed. Strength, response time, recovery. The numbers adjusted themselves upward as Jacob's muscles tightened beneath his skin. His frame stayed the same, but everything about him looked denser, coiled, stronger. When the technician told him to stand, he did, too quickly. The chair skidded back several inches before anyone touched it. Jacob looked down at his hands. They shook for a few seconds, then steadied. Phase 2 confirmed, the technician said. Hale smiled. He turned toward the woman beside him. She didn't return the smile. "Send him," she said. The woman turned and walked away immediately, the door sealing behind her before Hale could respond. Hale pressed the intercom. Jacob. Jacob looked up, eyes steady. "There's a subject above ground," Hale said. "The one we lost track of." Jacob waited. "Locate him," Hale continued. "Bring him back. Do not engage anyone else." Jacob nodded once. The door unlocked. Jacob stepped out without another word. Evan walked beside Daniel along the outer trail, keeping his pace slow enough not to draw attention. Daniel's shoulders were tight, his hands buried in his pockets. He kept glancing toward the trees. "You've been quiet," Evan said. Daniel shrugged. "You've been different the last 2 days," Evan said. "Even worse since I found you all scraped up in that ditch." Daniel didn't answer. They walked a little farther. "You didn't trip," Evan said. "Not the way you said you did." Daniel's jaw clenched. He kicked at a rock on the path and missed it. Evan slowed. He saw something moving off in the distance. He turned and was able to make out the face of a young boy. Just as he called out, Jacob hit Evan hard from the side. They rolled down the embankment. Evan hit the ground hard. The wind knocked clean out of him. He barely had time to see Daniel stumble backward before Jacob hit him again. Jacob stayed on him. They wrestled through leaves and dirt, bodies locked together, Evan straining just to keep Jacob's weight from pinning him completely. Jacob didn't rush. He adjusted, countered, used Evan's movements against him. They rolled down the slope, crashing into a tree, then another, before tumbling into the creek at the bottom. Cold water swallowed them. Jacob came up first and shoved Evan under, forcing his head beneath the surface. Evan fought, arms flailing as water rushed into his mouth. Jacob's grip didn't shake. It didn't tighten. It just held him there. Pressure built. Sound vanished. Then Jacob jerked violently to one side. He released Evan and staggered back, gasping. An arrow was buried deep in the back of his shoulder, angled downward. Jacob turned. The boy from the woods stood at the edge of the creek, bow already lowered. For a moment, Jacob looked like he might charge again. Instead, he stepped back into the trees and disappeared. Evan dragged himself onto the bank, coughing, chest burning. When he forced himself upright, the woods boy was already gone. Daniel ran to him. "Where did he go?" Evan asked. Daniel shook his head. They sat there while Evan caught his breath. Daniel broke first. He told Evan about the woods, about the boy, about being tackled off the path just in time to avoid the passing creature, about Jacob. Evan listened without interrupting. When Daniel finished, Evan nodded once. "Tonight," Evan said, "I'm getting help." Daniel's eyes widened. "You can't." "I have to," Evan said. "You have to act normal. Don't talk about this to anyone." Daniel nodded. That night, Evan waited until the cabins went quiet, until the lights settled, until the cameras fell into their usual rhythm. Then he slipped onto the access road and started walking. He followed it for over a mile. When he finally slowed, his legs burning and breath ragged, he realized the road ahead looked wrong, too familiar, the trees opening in a way he recognized before he forced himself to look up at the sign. Whispering Pines Summer Camp. Evan froze. The access road was dead straight. No intersections, no turns. He knew exactly where it led. He turned in a slow circle, heart pounding, trying to understand how the trees, the road, the ground beneath his feet had brought him back here. It felt less like he'd turned around and more like the world had quietly folded in on itself. 3 blurry figures stood in the road just up ahead. As Evan got closer, he was able to make out Mr. Hale, Jacob, and a woman Evan didn't recognize. Mr. Hale stepped forward, calm as ever. The woman stood beside him. Between them, Jacob waited, his injured arm hanging stiff at his side. "Going somewhere?" Hale asked. Daniel lay awake in his bunk, staring at the underside of the mattress above him. Sleep wouldn't come. Raised voices carried through the trees. Footsteps. The crunch of gravel on the access road. He slid just far enough to see through the cabin window. Down the road, Mr. Hale stood with the woman. Jacob was there too, favoring his injured arm as he and Hale dragged Evan forward between them, Evan's feet barely staying under him. Daniel didn't move. He didn't make a sound. That night, Whispering Pines slept. Daniel did not.